It might surprise you to learn that approximately 48 million Americans experience food poisoning each year, and over 3,000 lose their lives. This number sadly includes many elderly individuals whose immune systems aren't as strong as they once were. According to the CDC, older adults face a significantly increased risk. The fact that many of these illnesses originate in the refrigerator is very alarming. You might be surprised to learn that several common foods could become health hazards due to the conditions inside your refrigerator, the very appliance you trust to keep food safe. Like and subscribe for more educational health videos like this one, if you found it helpful. Indeed, recent research has shown that certain foods, when not stored correctly in the fridge, can lead to harmful chemical reactions, nutrient loss, and even food poisoning. What's worse, many people are unaware of this. Your health could be at risk if you've been mindlessly storing particular fruits, vegetables, or household staples in the fridge. Particularly concerning is the first food item on this list. When chilled, it not only becomes less nutritious, but also forms chemicals that are bad for you. If you want to learn something that could save your life, or at least your health, you should read this entire article. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this before we begin. Also tell us in the comments where you're watching from. All right then, let's dive right in. Number 9, potatoes. Let's start with a common food that most people put in their fridge without a second thought: the potato. Now, the surprising truth is that potentially harmful changes occur when potatoes are refrigerated. A subtle cellular process happens when raw potatoes are stored in cold environments. An overly rapid conversion of potato starch to sugar takes place. At first, this might not seem like a big deal, but here's where it gets concerning. Refrigerated potatoes contain sugars that, when cooked or baked at high temperatures, can react with amino acids to form acrylamide. This chemical has been linked to cancer in animals and is currently being studied for its potential effects on people. That's not all. As a result of oxidation and nutrient loss, potatoes change texture while stored in the fridge, turning gritty, mushy, and often discolored. Refrigerated potatoes, instead of being the satisfying and filling food that everyone enjoys, become a mushy, sugary mess that could be harmful when cooked. If you've ever noticed that your roasted potatoes have developed an unusually sweet flavor or texture, your fridge could be the reason. Keep potatoes away from direct sunlight and moisture. Instead, choose a cool, dark, and dry place. By doing so, they'll maintain their firmness, flavor, and safety for eating. Now is the time to remove any potatoes from the fridge before they transform into a potential health risk disguised as dinner. Number 8, bread. Let's talk about bread, a staple that many older individuals often have on hand because it's comforting and essential. Putting bread in the fridge, which you might think will keep it fresh longer, is actually quite the opposite. Retrogradation is the scientific term for the process by which bread's starch molecules begin to crystallize when exposed to cold temperatures. This is essentially a fancy way of saying what happens in practice, and it starts fairly quickly. It doesn't take weeks. What does this mean? Refrigerating your soft and airy bread will speed up its staleness compared to leaving it out at room temperature. Yes, it's true that bread doesn't stay fresh in the fridge. It accelerates the staling process. While the change might not be immediately obvious, it's definitely noticeable in the taste. Toasted foods like sandwiches lose some of their appeal as the texture becomes rough, dry, and crumbly. It gets worse from here, though. Bread becomes a perfect environment for mold to grow when it loses moisture in the refrigerator. The moist, uneven environment that forms when food is refrigerated and then warmed again is ideal for mold spores. Besides being unpleasant, moldy bread is potentially dangerous. For older people with weakened immune systems, ingesting mycotoxins, toxic chemicals produced by some molds, can have serious effects. Actually, freezing is the way to go if you want your bread to last longer. Freezing can prevent both mold and staling without affecting the texture. Slice it ahead of time and thaw it when you need it. So when it comes to your refrigerator, don't even think about putting your daily loaf in there. Store bread in an airtight container or bread box for a few days at room temperature. After that, put it in the freezer. Stay warm and protect yourself and your loaf from the cold. Number 7, onions. Putting onions in the fridge is a common mistake that can lead to unexpected problems, so you might be surprised to see them here. An onion's papery skin helps to keep out moisture, preserve flavor, and maintain the onion's firmness. But this balance is completely disrupted when you put onions in the fridge. When onions are cut, they absorb moisture more quickly due to the cold and humidity inside the refrigerator. The result is often mold growth and unpleasant taste and a mushy texture. However, the issue of odor transfer is far more significant. When onions are placed in the fridge, they release sulfur compounds that speed up their decomposition and can even permeate nearby foods. They are also quite pungent. Have you ever thought that onions might be lurking in your fruit or butter? That's not just your imagination. The refrigerator acts like a sponge soaking up these volatile chemicals. Bacterial contamination is another hidden risk. Bacteria will grow on sliced onions in the fridge, whether they are covered or not. While it's not true that onions absorb toxins, as some food myths suggest it is true, that onions, especially when stored incorrectly and exposed to moisture, can harbor harmful microorganisms. A pantry or another dry, dark, and well-ventilated area is ideal for storing whole onions. Keep whole onions cool, but only store sliced onions in the fridge if they are in an airtight container and will be used soon, preferably within a day or two. Incorrect storage can lead to food, spoilage, nutrient loss, and an unpleasant onion-scented fridge full of surprises. Number 6, tomatoes. When it comes to keeping perishable foods, fresh tomatoes might be the most misunderstood fruit. The common belief is that storing tomatoes in the fridge will prolong their freshness. But in reality, cold temperatures ruin the texture and flavor of tomatoes. According to science, tomatoes are tropical fruits that suffer greatly from cold temperatures. Refrigerating tomatoes stops them from ripening because the cold air disrupts their natural enzymes. A significant part of a tomato's flavor actually develops during ripening. Without this process, the fruit will be mealy, watery, and tasteless. Texture is also a crucial factor. Refrigerated tomatoes become mushy and rubbery after losing their firmness. The characteristic bite and juicy burst of a fresh tomato are completely lost. The impact on nutrients is also quite concerning. Tomatoes contain vitamin C, which is beneficial for you, but it degrades quickly in cold storage. So eating them too soon after refrigeration may compromise both their flavor and health benefits. When exposed to prolonged cold, even the skin begins to shrivel and wrinkle, making what is otherwise a vibrant food look old and unappetizing. If you've ever cut into a tomato and found it watery or bland, it has likely been chilled. To keep tomatoes fresh longer, store them stem side down at room temperature and out of direct sunlight. Use them promptly or cook them if they become overripe. Don't try to be a hero by putting them in the fridge. All you're really doing is hastening their demise. Number 5, garlic. Many consider garlic a superfood because of the sulfur compounds it contains, such as allicin, which helps support the immune system and lower blood pressure. However, if you keep garlic in the fridge, its wonderful health benefits will either diminish quickly or potentially become dangerous. Garlic bulbs can be stored at room temperature for several weeks or months if kept in a dry, cool, and well-ventilated place. However, the natural preservation of garlic is compromised when stored in the refrigerator due to the moisture and cold temperature. Premature sprouting of the cloves alters their flavor and indicates a change in their chemical composition. That sharp and tasty punch is replaced by something harsh and rubbery. Even worse, the allicin, the active ingredient in garlic that provides its health benefits, is largely lost when the garlic sprouts. Now we get to the most alarming part. Garlic, especially minced or chopped garlic stored in oil, can harbor the bacteria Clostridium botulinum, which causes botulism if left in the fridge for an extended period. If this rare but serious illness is not treated quickly, it can lead to paralysis or even death. Many people continue to do this despite FDA warnings about the dangers of storing garlic in oil without acid or refrigeration safeguards. Garlic doesn't need freezing. Simply store the whole bulb in a basket or mesh bag. To prevent bacterial growth, use chopped garlic immediately or store it in a vinegar or lemon juice base. However, you shouldn't leave your garlic sitting unprotected in the fridge if you want to keep it fresh and safe. Number 4, brewed coffee. You heard that right. Coffee is on this list, and there's a good reason why. Coffee grounds and beans are very sensitive to light, smell, and moisture. Putting them in the fridge might give the impression that you're keeping them fresh, but in reality, you're just setting them up for a rapid decline. Coffee, being hygroscopic, acts like a sponge, absorbing moisture and aromas from its surroundings. As soon as coffee is placed in the refrigerator, it starts to soak up the smells and flavors of the produce and leftovers around it. Your beans' unique flavor profiles will be completely ruined, and the resulting brew will be bland, harsh, or just plain weird. However, taste is only one concern. The real enemy here is moisture. Condensation forms on coffee beans or grounds every time the refrigerator door is opened and closed due to the combination of the cold air and the humidity inside. This causes the important oils like chlorogenic acids, which give coffee its flavor and health benefits, to break down. This in turn leads to clumping and premature staling. These acids degrade more quickly in cold, damp environments. Plus, they are antioxidants that help keep your heart and brain healthy. Cold coffee loses its flavor and any potential health benefits as it ages. Moreover, mold can grow on damp coffee grounds, especially if the container isn't airtight. Instead of the fridge, store your coffee in a dark cupboard tightly sealed in an opaque container at room temperature. This way it retains its freshness, flavor, and safety. Number 3, honey. My friend, this one might catch you off guard. It has a golden color, a thick consistency, and a delightful taste. It also seems perfectly at home in the fridge. However, honey does not fare well when kept in the refrigerator. In fact, putting honey in the fridge does more than just alter its texture. It completely undoes the natural preservation mechanism that allows honey to remain edible indefinitely. Cold temperatures cause honey to crystallize quickly when stored in the refrigerator. As a result, it becomes very hard, grainy, and almost impossible to spread or scoop. Oh, it's just a change in texture, you might say. Not exactly. When a container is opened and closed repeatedly during the crystallization process, air pockets can become trapped, allowing moisture to enter. Honey is not a fan of moisture. It can lead to fermentation, resulting in a sour smell and taste in your honey. To make matters worse, moisture encourages the growth of microbes, a problem that honey usually avoids due to its high acidity and low water content. However, its natural defenses are weakened when stored incorrectly. Additionally, honey's antibacterial properties are aided by its natural enzymes, which are slowed down by cold temperatures. Keeping honey in the fridge can diminish its health benefits. Therefore, the answer is yes, store honey in an airtight container in a cool, dark place, away from direct sunlight and extreme temperatures. This ensures that its time-honored medicinal properties like its smooth texture, natural flavor, and all of its restorative components remain intact. Number 2, fresh bananas. Because of their high potassium content and ease of digestion, bananas are a go-to fruit for many people, including seniors. But chilling bananas is a surefire way to ruin their wonderful qualities. The chemistry of bananas is designed to thrive in warm climates, making them tropical fruits. Putting them in the fridge, especially before they're fully ripe, causes the ripening enzymes to shut down. Your bananas might never reach their peak ripeness. Because of this, the worst part is that they will remain hard, lack flavor, and their skin will turn a dull gray or black color very quickly. Not only is this discoloration unappealing, but it also indicates cold injury. Beneath that blackened exterior, the banana often becomes mushy in patches and develops an unpleasant metallic taste. Bananas are not only delicious and visually appealing, but they also lose some of their natural antioxidants when refrigerated. These antioxidants, particularly carotenoids and dopamine, are important for maintaining brain health and reducing oxidative stress in cells exposed to aging. Putting bananas in the fridge unknowingly removes these vital chemicals, especially crucial for older adults. The accumulation of moisture within the peel, particularly around the stem area, can also encourage the growth of mold, which is an even bigger problem if the banana was already overripe when placed in the refrigerator. Therefore, instead of extending shelf life, you run the risk of mold exposure. To keep bananas ripe and delicious, store them in an airtight container, or even better, hang them from a hook. If you find yourself with an abundance of ripe bananas, peel them and freeze them in a container for later use in smoothies or baking. But for the sake of their longevity, please do not refrigerate them. The fruit's nutritional value, texture, and natural goodness will all be compromised. Number 1, olive oil. Despite its various uses and reputation as a heart-healthy staple, olive oil is actually the most problematic item to keep in the fridge, especially for older adults. Olive oil becomes cloudy and semi-solid when refrigerated due to a process called solidification where the fatty acids crystallize. While there's nothing inherently wrong with this physical change, few seniors understand the significant health issues caused by the repeated temperature fluctuations of taking the oil in and out of the refrigerator. The chemical structure of olive oil is stressed every time it goes from cold to warm, which speeds up the oxidation process. This in turn can create free radicals and reduce the oil's antioxidant benefits. Worryingly, research suggests that these oxidative changes in oils already common in older individuals may worsen inflammation in the joints and gastrointestinal irritation due to the high temperatures they were exposed to. The solidification of the oil also makes it more difficult to pour, increasing the likelihood of spills or overuse, adding unnecessary calories to seniors' diets. Beyond the potential health risks, refrigerating olive oil drastically alters its flavor profile, eliminating the pleasant fruity and peppery notes that are characteristic of the heart-healthy Mediterranean diet. Instead, keep olive oil in a sealed metal or dark glass container away from direct sunlight, in stoves or other heat sources. When stored correctly, high-quality olive oil can retain its flavor and health benefits for up to 2 years after bottling. That concludes our list of 9 foods that should never be stored in the refrigerator. Organizing your food storage by category is a good starting point. Avoid refrigerating avocados and bananas until they reach their ideal ripeness. Onions and potatoes fare better when stored in cool, dark environments rather than damp, cold ones. Never refrigerate bread. It's best kept at room temperature or frozen. Store honey in the pantry and coffee in a dark, airtight container. And be mindful of garlic and tomatoes. Proper storage will ensure their flavor and health benefits remain intact. Here's a valuable lesson. Sometimes the way we've always stored food isn't the best way. Understanding how temperature affects different foods can help us preserve their nutrients, flavor, and even our health. Take a moment to reconsider what's in your fridge and where it might be better off. Now it's your turn to share. Were you aware of the risks of storing these foods in the fridge? What changes will you make immediately? Leave a comment below and tell us your thoughts. Please share this video with anyone who might find it helpful. Thank you for watching. Please rate this video on a scale of 1 to 10. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more helpful tips.